Not promote or promotion any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant only for educational purpose only.
What's going on, everybody? How are we doing? Welcome to another Can We Keep It Real podcast. While I'm sitting in my car, you know, um, the last couple of days I had to get some rest, but I still did some research, but I wanted to know body cameras in Massachusetts towns, um, why do police still not have body cams, and what is really costing everybody? What's it costing the people in Massachusetts? A lot of these towns still don't have police body cameras. And what is it really costing everybody? Hey, folks, it's your boy Mikey from Can We Keep It Real podcast here. And I want to bring you some straight talk. We're going to get right into it. We don't spin shit, we don't sugarcoat, but today we're going to dive into something that should have every taxpayer in the Commonwealth, every parent, every cop asking why the hell more police departments have body worn cameras. Let's keep it real, right? Let's keep it real right out the gate. Mass has what? 433, I believe, law enforcement agencies, and since 2021, only 190 of them even bothered applying for state grants to buy these cameras. So out of 433 departments, only 190 ever applied for grants. That's less than half. And despite millions handed out, I think I read over $13 million by the late 2025, plus a final $3.5 million. $3.5 million. That is a lot of money. Like I said, we're not going to sugarcoat it here, but every taxpayer, every parent, every cop in Mass should. Why the hell don't police departments have these body worn cameras, right? Right out the gate. So out of 433 law enforcement agencies, only 190 of them bothered applying for state grant money to buy these cameras. That's less than half. And despite millions handed out, over $13 million by the late 2025, plus a final $3.5 million by March of 2026 that helped another 32 police departments, dozens of departments. Many in small towns still don't have them. We're talking real places. How about Haverhill, where we've seen Francis Gigalotti, unalived? North Andover, where Officer Noonan couldn't get his story right and body cameras would have helped save a lot of trouble. Just them two towns alone, where we had recent high-profile incidents happen with zero body cam footage, bystanders, video, security cameras. They had to fill in the blanks, and that's not accountability. That's guesswork. Why? Mass isn't one of the 8 states that straight up mandate body cameras for cops. Only 8 states. No law, no requirements. It's optional. And here's where it gets very messy, right? The money excuse. Storage, maintenance. That shit ain't cheap. See, grants cover a lot of the upfront buy, the docking stations, battery servers, but ongoing costs for video storage, that hit departments hard, especially some of these smaller towns, that just can't throw it on some, fancy cloud without budgeting year after year. The police unions push back. I mean, the biggest elephant in the room, multiple towns, Groveland, Williamton, Stowe, and others, they all have grants lined up. Police unions are saying no thanks. Negotiations drag on forever. Cambridge still negotiating years later. Some unions treat it like it's Big Brother spying on their guys instead of a tool that actually protects good cops by shutting down bogus complaints. Look, I get it. They definitely have a tough job, right? But these cameras have been shown nationwide to drop citizen complaints, use of force incidents. They protect cops too, right? Clear video means fewer he said, she said lawsuits, right? Why fight the very thing that could clear your name in court unless you're doing something dirty? That's the only reason that what you worried about. Are you doing something dirty, Mr. Policeman? But what's the total cost per camera? The upfront, the hardware cost. You know, a solid police grade body cam probably runs 400 to a G note per unit. That's just to buy it. That depends on brand, what features you want, any kind of discounts. And that includes just the camera itself, you know, the docking station, the basic setups, right? Your total real world cost, which is everything. Here's the kicker. When you add data storage, on-site servers of cloud, maintenance, batteries, software for tagging, you got to redact video, training, administration time, it jumps from 1,000 to 3,000 per camera per officer per year. So is that a lot of money? Is that worth it? You're looking at the little number, $1,000 to $3,000 per camera, you know, per officer, right? So smaller departments, you know, see lower numbers because they are very small, right? But scale it up, it adds up fast. If you look at a 70, say a department with like 70 police officers, you know, they're looking at about $1 million tab per year, even with grants. The state grant program, which has wrapped its final round, offset a ton of that startup, you know, for a lot of departments. That jumped on over 4,800 cameras bought statewide. But for the holdouts, I mean, towns are on the hook themselves. Now, like a 5-year funding window is closed. Bottom line, keeping it 100. You know, so let's keep it 100. You know, this ain't about defunding the police nonsense or any anti-cop bullshit. It's about basic transparency. You know, and in 2026. You know, a lot of these towns that skipped the grant altogether, or the unions might have killed the damn program. You know, you're leaving everyone, residents, victims, cops, in the dock when it matters most. Small town budgets, I hear you. They're tight. Unions want to protect their members, fair enough, right? But we've got the data, right? The examples, the technology. I think it's time to stop dragging the feet. Taxpayers probably deserve to see where their money is going in terms of real accountability. You know, what do you think? Should Mass finally mandate these things statewide? Should your state? Or keep letting every town, every union decide? You know, drop your thoughts in the comment section. You know, hit the like. It's your boy Mikey. You know, subscribe. Can We Keep It Real podcast? You know, let us know.
Season desist, yeah, they coming for the crown. Opponent against it, high feeling like they